In this edition of NITDA Impact, we bring you a brand new segment, NITDA Voices. This captures the most striking messages of top NITDA management. They are sound bites with depth as they come. Also in this edition is a feature of Malam Kashifu Inoa Abdullahi, the Director General of NITDA, on harnessing indigenous solutions for public sector innovation. Plus, Zoacell, an online marketplace on our startup lounge. And not forgetting our personality of the week, Mr. Umar Ede Ibrahim, Director of Finance and Management Control, NITDA. Hello and welcome to the program NITDA Impact, Nigeria's leading ICT and innovation program on television. I am Ewomazino Wonder. Again, you are specially welcome. First, here are issues and development that made news in the past week. Webinars have become a veritable platform for engagement and exchange of ideas as a result of the lockdown. At a recent event, Malam Kashifu Inoa, the Director General of NITDA, represented by the Coordinator Office for National Content in ICT, Kasim Sudengi, speaks on harnessing indigenous solutions for public sector innovation and digital economy.
The whole essence of today's meeting is to advocate for co-development, co-ideation, and development of solutions that are indigenous to Nigeria that will solve specific and precise problems in our society. Our key objective is that for solutions that are driven or adopted or used by the federal government, we want to encourage that beyond issuing out procurement notices and adverts, that MDAs are able to sit down with indigenous content providers and discuss and come up with a plan and a strategy to drive the development of a solution.
Other participants also give insight on the opportunities and prospects of maximizing indigenous solutions.
We need to understand that this conversation is not just about driving relationships and opportunities for local or indigenous companies, but it is about building technologies that can help leapfrog and make our society and our country a better country. It is an opportunity that we all need to look at and ask the questions as to how do we use technology to leapfrog development such that we can see the future that we all would like to see.
Welcome to NITDA. Welcome to Nigeria's IT regulator.
Our plan is to make sure we create millions of digital jobs for Nigerians.
From innovation to business enhancement using IT local content, e-governance, cybersecurity and data protection, NITDA is your dependable partner.
We have achieved a lot within this time. We commissioned the first innovation and incubation hub in this country. We are building these hubs across the country.
At NITDA, we take the mission to building a digital Nigeria very seriously. Join us.
This is NITDA Impact. For details, please check us out via our social media handles or just log on to www.nitda.gov.ng or email us at info@nitda.gov.ng. That the world is currently being ravaged by coronavirus with the number of deaths and infections still on the rise is no longer news. What may appear shocking to many is the impact it is likely having on cybersecurity and personal safety online. This is because many now work from home, leading to various upsurge on internet usage by businesses and individual interactions. Against this backdrop, we thought it wise to bring to you ways of staying safe online for both your business and personal safety. This is our insight for the week. Cybercriminals see any major event as an opportunity for sabotage or manipulation, and the global spread of COVID-19 is a prime example of this. Since the first news stories broke, cybercriminals have been active with malware and phishing campaigns using coronavirus-themed bait. To help, NITDA Computer Emergency Readiness Response Team, SAT, has taken a look at how to avert potential cyber vulnerabilities. Phishing, email, SMS, Facebook, Twitter, or WhatsApp messages with COVID-19 related content. The criminals are taking advantage of the increased demand for personal protection equipment, as well as the federal government financial aid, federal government funds, to lure people to click on links to phishing websites that steal personal or financial information. Malware distribution. This will usually be an email asking readers to open malware-affected files or download a file or apps which contains malware or ransomware and therefore compromises their device. Vulnerabilities in remote working tools. With a majority of people working remotely, cyber criminals are exploiting vulnerabilities in systems such as virtual private networks, VPNs, and video conferencing apps such as Zoom. Thanks for staying with us on this ride. When we return, we'll treat you to our startup lounge plus our personality of the week, Mr. Umar Ede Ibrahim, Director of Finance and Management Control, NITDA. Stay with us. The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, is the rallying point and voice of the information technology industry in Nigeria. The impact of NITDA keeps reverberating across the landscape. We bring you NITDA voices and sound bites.
We are to coordinate and encourage the adoption and effective deployment of ICT for service delivery in all federal government MDAs, and in addition, we are doing for states and local governments as well. We are also involved in the capacity building of public servants, because you can't say you want to effectively deploy ICT without effective capacity building. So we are involved in building capacity of officers of the federal government of Nigeria.
We believe that we can't sit in the comfort of Abuja here and be driving ICT. So we carry out a lot of grassroots intervention to make sure there's a deeper penetration of ICT. So we carry out the commentary and evaluation, or in other words, impact assessment of some of these interventions to know how much we should do more, where we should digress, which other new projects do we come. Besides that, we also carry out what we call innovation research, what we call technical research and also innovation, where basically we do what they call technology tracking and adaptation. What does that mean? It's our job also to identify some of the trends out there and see some of the ones that we can actually take some of the paths that are needed in Nigeria in line with our peculiarities here and advise the government and also stakeholders. Either we go in as a POC, proof of concept, or as a pilot, how such as can be utilized in line with our peculiarity to solve some of those priority problems we have in Nigeria.
The whole essence of establishing the agency was to implement the development of information technology in Nigeria. And based on that policy, NITDA was established under the Ministry of Science and Technology then. And eventually in 2007, an act was passed establishing NITDA as an agency that was placed under the Ministry of Communication Technology, which is now Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. And since then, we have been mandated to regulate information technology for the purpose of development. So generally, we deal with information technology practices, we deal with information technology systems, we also deal with research and development, as well as enhance and support the use of information technology in all spheres of life in Nigeria. And we do this through regulations, standards, and guidelines.
The ONC, more appropriately, is the special purpose vehicle created within the structures of NITDA to deliver on a specific mandate for developing local capacity in information and communication technology. It comes from the mandate of NITDA under the Act that enables NITDA, particularly Section 6A and B of the Act, that empowers NITDA to develop the IT sector. Therefore, NITDA needed a coherent strategy with a clear implementation plan for development of local capacity for the creation of jobs and the retention of value and creation of wealth within the ICT vertical and value chain in Nigeria.
We issued the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. So during my time, I licensed additional 17 data protection compliance organizations in November last year. And they have been working to ensure the compliance of this regulation. And the idea is, our regulation, we call it developmental regulation because it's not to stifle innovation, rather to unlock opportunities. So we created a new industry.
Take responsibility against the spread of coronavirus COVID-19. Adopt preventive measures and stay at home. Explore digital solutions to work and connect with colleagues, family and friends. In case of emergency, call National Emergency Toll-Free Line 112 or NCDC 0809-700-0010. This message is a corporate social responsibility from NITDA. Zoacell is an online marketplace for grains. The co-founder, Jerry Oche, is our guest in this edition. In his words, Zoacell is a solution meant to fix the cash flow problems of agribusiness. Here is a startup launch.
What prompted Zoacell?
The idea basically is to provide a platform for growers to sell and access financing for their crops, irrespective of where they are and who they want to sell to create a broader market for them to choose who they want to sell to at a more better price than what they have in their local communities.
NITDA's commitment to supporting startups has prompted them to put up programs and seminars. How has participating in these events helped you to grow Zoacell?
Well, I think we're participating in two of NITDA's events. One is the JATEX in Dubai, and the other one again was E Nigeria event that we attended. Okay. Yeah, it was a great opportunity, of course, to meet up with other startups and other mentors. It was a short stay, but of course, it was very impactful in what we are doing.
What other strategies do you think government should put in place for the agri-tech space?
Well, I think to accelerate what NITDA is doing, the honest truth is, apart from participation, it's gone beyond participation to more of taking action to see what does the startup really need. It's not just about presentation or just coming together to talk. It's about what is the next step of action that the startup needs in terms of a lot of startups really need funding per se. Can those funding be converted into what they need and provide for them to go? I think those are the kind of conversations that need to be put in place, not just endless pitches and just talk. It has to go into action, take it to the next level of providing what they need.
Can you share with us some of the challenges you are facing operating in the agri sector, and how have you been able to overcome them?
There are lots of challenges, but some of the few I could actually mention now from my own end is actually access to having maybe tech developers to work on our project. And of course, one of God is even having access to infrastructure, because you cannot, we're having a situation where we want to move our commodities, there are less infrastructure on ground for us to move our commodity. Sure. Then of course, access to finance. Access to finance now is not giving the startup money, but providing the financial system to support what the startup is doing. So in our own case, for example, we provide alternative payments for farmers against waiting for conventional payment. Now, how do we get ecosystem partners to support what we are doing? Now, those are actually the challenges. Now, when you look at those challenges are not really funding challenges. These are just fundamental infrastructural challenges that need to be put in place. Kind of partnership need to be provided. So I think these are the key issues that every startup face working in this market.
How many other people as Zoazel provide employment opportunities?
Our model is open to both the farmers and the middlemen who actually want to sell commodities, even though we have distinguished program for each of those parties. But everybody is welcome to participate in what we are doing. And of course, we have a system for referrals where we have local agents, which of course that one is open to the number that we can get and what they can deliver. So, and I think that is a big employment opportunity for people working in rural areas. So they don't need to come to the cities. They can work from their location and get funding get reward for what they do through commission basis. So it's like helping a local farmer to put up his product and sell his product based on our quality specification.
What word do you have for other startups that are into the agri-tech space?
It's more of two ways. For existing ecosystem partners, it's just to specialize in what you're doing. So you don't need to do everything. Pick a particular segment. The value chain is big enough, so pick a particular segment of the value chain and focus on that. So don't try to do farm to fork, because it's not sustainable and you run into trouble. So focus in your specialized area and just stick to that. And for aspiring people who want to come into the field, I think again is for you to, before you come in, do your research, understand what value you are bringing, and of course understand where you're going to have your partnership and source of funding. I think that is very important. Above all, I think is to grow your traction and hope someday that some investors will come up with something.
From our startup launch this week, featuring Zoazel Solution for Agric-Business Cash Flow Solution, we'll take you now to our personality of the week. Umar Ede Ibrahim is the Director, Finance and Management Control. He's a man of numbers and precision, and utmost dedication to duty. Mr. Umar Ede Ibrahim engaged us with a very clear understanding of NITDA finances and its functions.
The act that set up the agency has even inculcated the issue of transparency before it was passed into law. The revenue that's supposed to be accruing to the agency is collected by Federal Inland Revenue Service. It is lodged into a revenue account or a reserve account in CBN. NITDA reconciles the account with Federal Inland Revenue Service, and based on what we get, we go for appropriation. And once appropriation is gotten, we'll now start the internal due processes from procurement department. They are the one doing the adverts, collation of bid documents, both financial and other bidding processes, and award of contracts within the stipulated of time as allowed by law. For expenditure control, we have for every budget there are budget lines. So we will not spend money that's meant for salaries for an interview like this. You know what I'm saying? So if there is no vote for this expenditure, for instance, you won't be holding this interview. So control expenditure lines, vote or charges are very, very relevant, and we'll have officers who are in charge of that. So we don't go outside what is budgeted to expend any fund for any project or any endeavor. It has impacted on us very positively, like it is impacting on any other organization or government. Like from inception, our account has been in CBN. You know, when there was no TSA, we still have our account was in CBN. It is when we want to expend that we will now request Akatanyera to help us transfer money to commercial bank. But having established the TSA, everything is done from CBN. It doesn't have any impact on us. It doesn't have any impact, any negative impact. It is only positive impact. VAT is a VAT charge for procuring something. It is borne by the consumer. And whenever we are making any payment, as we are making payment to the contractor or the supplier, we are also throwing the VAT leg to the account of Federal Inland Revenue Service at CBN. And withholding tax is payment of, withholding a tax in anticipation of the company filing their report, so that by the time they are paying their original tax on profit of what they made within the period, they should be able to charge that one off that they have paid in advance. It's not something that they should be worrying the contractors, because it's part of their tax on the company that they are paying in advance. And FRS has been giving us credit notes to avail them. Now that everything is done online, with your TIN, you can just click on your TIN number and your credit note can be generated for you online. So we don't have a problem with that. And then with pay as you earn, as we are paying the salaries, we are also paying the payee to the revenue authorities where our staff are located. For instance, for Federal Capital Territory, those of us stay in Abuja here, our pay goes to Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, FCT Internal Revenue Service. For our staff in Lagos, we pay Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. Same thing to Kano, Gombe, and Port Harcourt. That's how it is. And there's no ambiguity whatsoever in all our tax administration here. For any projects that is being implemented, the agency has established a unit called Project Monitoring Units. If you've said you have already done, you have completed your projects and is located anywhere in Nigeria, this group of engineers or professionals will go there, test run it, verify it, certify it, and submit their report. After submission of report, the chief executive will also send the same report to our audit unit to verify. After audit unit has verified, it will also move down to approvals. When it is approved and it comes to us, we send it to final accounts to check if there is even budget for that. If there is no budget for that, it means it may be very difficult to, to pay. So once there's budget for it, we have to check whether there's enough fund for it, so that we don't go outside budget, outside vote line to do payment.
A big thank you to Mr. Umar Ede Ibrahim there. Until next week, on behalf of the DG, management and staff of NITDA, we say keep your mail coming. Don't stop innovating. Stay tech savvy. I am Ewumazino Wanda. Bye for now.